Now, moving on, Labour's dubbed it Rishi's Recession as the Prime Minister's pledge to grow the economy took a hit with today's figures. Experts say, though, the numbers aren't as bad for the Prime Minister or the public as they may seem. And let's see what the panel makes of the UK in recession. I mean, who knows? They might have all been cutting back and haven't bought anything for ages. But Tom's here, Candice is here, Andrew as well. Tom, I mean, the recession is not really a recession, is it? It's one of these economic recessions where the people say, well, there's been 2 quarters where there's been no growth or negative growth, so technically it's a recession. And Labour loves it.
No, they do. I mean, any excuse to bash the Tories, that's to be expected.
Yeah.
But as you say, I mean, really, this is just a sign of just the stagnation that we've started to see, which is bad enough. The fact that we had the terrible COVID years economically, and the fact that even though he made growth one of his main pledges, we've just been trundling along at the very bottom of the pile. And that's something which, surely that's good enough to go out rather than scaring everyone witless by talking about recession.
Yeah.
Yes, technically speaking, but even people at the FT, who are hardly friends of the Conservative Party these days, have said over the course of the past 24 hours, not.
And I didn't
previously
see the
done.
market suddenly falling off a cliff or anything like that. I mean, it wasn't particularly unexpected because there isn't any growth. There's nothing happening. Nobody's going to work. I mean, I said earlier, this ridiculous study that we found today where civil servants only want to go into work 2 days a week, don't even want to do 3. And there's 5 million people not making any contribution to society at all. So there's more people here who are less well off because there's too many of them not making any money.
No, absolutely. And that's one thing that you have heard Jeremy Hunt start to talk about, that problem of the amount of people who have been... It's a tragedy, really. They've just been put out to pasture because it was easier to do so rather than to actually try and find a way to get them back into work.
Right.
There's a hell of a lot of potential that needs to be unlocked there. It's not the only thing, but it would certainly help. And it would also give a lot of meaning to those people's lives. There's whole cities now where there's like a quarter of the workforce which is out.
Right. Well, I mean, on a Monday or a Friday, you can sort of, fire a cannon down, many of the main streets in the city and there's nobody there. Which is remarkable.
It is extraordinary, isn't it? Well, it does make the front page of the Financial Times tomorrow's front. They talk about the economy shrank 0.3% in the last quarter. It's a blow to the PM for his promise of growth, because we always remember the 5 promises that he made. Inflation was always going to be an easy one.
Well, you might remember them. I've forgotten them all, to be honest. I mean,
but it's all about stop the boats. People always remember that one. And I think when he promised to halve,
so well, wasn't it?
he promised to halve inflation when it was over 11%, and clearly that's going to happen. Less headroom for tax cuts is what they're saying, which is going to be reality. But I think you're right. You have to peddle the narrative, and it depends at what stage you do it. It will get better.
I think are we not in a position, Candice, where people just see it from their own perspective? If you've got less money than you had last year, it's not good. If you're managing to stay about the same, you're OK.
Yeah, but maybe it's just the phase of life I'm in right now where people have mortgage and childcare costs. I just feel like people are at the edge of their budgets. They are straining their budgets. I mean, financial resilience is low.
Right.
I mean, you hear people who have good jobs and they're responsible and they say, I have to think very carefully about what I spend my money on now.
I mean, I know people who have moved out of London because their mortgage kind of quadrupled and they just couldn't afford it. And they were like, we've got to sell the house and got to move out. And these were not, people who were particularly badly off.
No.
But they were just, literally priced out of the market.
Because everything's gone up at once. So, say you got those extra mortgage costs, maybe you could handle it, but your energy bill's gone up, your food bill's gone up, your petrol bill's gone up, your taxes have gone up.
Yeah.
Everything, your local
Your blood pressure's gone up.
Yeah.
All these sort of
That's
things.
right. And you can't see a doctor to get your blood pressure down.